Hello, I'm Valentina Isis, the goddess of astrology, and welcome to this episode for love and relationships for the sign of Capricorn. Now, this works if you have your sun, moon, or ascendant in the sign of Capricorn, or your Venus and Mars in the sign of Capricorn. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is how does Capricorn love? What type of relationship are Capricorns looking for? How do they act in relationships? And what can you expect out of your Capricorn mate to be acting like? And how can you make your Capricorn fall madly in love with you? Alright guys, so let's get started and let's understand a little bit deeper what our Capricorn love needs. Okay, so first we're going to start with some traits of the Capricorn. Capricorns is an earth sign and they're very practical and purposeful. So they need to have a purpose, they need to have a duty. They are born feeling like I have a duty on me, I need to do this. Usually a Capricorn when they're born is because they're going to be taking a lot of responsibility at a young age. They grow up very fast and from very young age they could seem very mature. They could seem very serious. So they kind of have the Benjamin Button effect where as the younger they are, the more serious they are, the more like rigid they are. And as they get older, they get more childlike and more soft. They're also, they have an appetite for life. They really want to get to their status. They really want to get to the highest mountain because they are the goat mountain. So they won't rest until they get to the peak. They won't rest until they get to the top. They're very ambitious because of this. There's just an ambition that drives them deep inside of them to go get those status, to go get, to be in the top. How can I get to the top? Who's in the top? They're also very determined, very, very determined, very skilled in crisis and very good at management. These are the people that know what to do. They know how to keep a cool head. They're not driven by their emotions. They're driven by their practicality and they're very, very serious. So in times where a lot of people might just lose it emotionally, they know exactly how to keep their cool. They're very loyal. They are an earth sign. They don't like to be changing things. They don't like to be changing. They're not fickle at all. Once they say they're going to do something and they said, this is my duty and I'm going to do it, they're going to do it. Because of that sense of responsibility that they have a lot of dedication for whatever it is that they do, and they say, okay, I'm taking responsibility for this. I'm dedicating my life, my being, my assets, my money. Like they are not people to half-ass it. And because of this, they're very cautious because they know that once they get involved into something, they're fully involved completely. Their whole being is completely involved in it. So they are more cautious and they are slower at taking risks. They're very passionate. They can be critical, of course, because the Capricorn is naturally the father of the zodiac. So they have this parental energy about them, this fatherly energy about them. They're not necessarily going to be babying you, but they're going to be actually parenting you and helping you like, hey, you need to grow up. This is how you do it. You might think you're doing these things right, but no. Here, let me show you how to do it. They're highly sexed. They definitely are highly sexed. They're known for having great stamina in the bed. So this is something really good for them. They're materialistic. They do love to feel like they've reached their goals and they like to be surrounded by the high-end things that they've been, that they've been going towards, that ambition is really pulling them towards. So they have a material energy about them. Then they're very moralistic and they like to, be conservative and follow the norms. They're not people to be define authority at all. They're attracted to structure. They're attracted to things that already have a structure, that have some sort of organization to them. They are attracted to these things. They naturally like it because they feel like it works. If I follow what the law tells me to do and I am a good citizen and I'm a good, part of the community and the society, I'm going to get my fair share of accomplishments and I'm going to get my fair share of recognition. And that's really what they're looking for. They're rigid because of this, and I definitely suggest, especially for the Capricorn ascendants, to stretch your body because you guys rule the part of the body that has to do with the bones, and they can get very stiff in their life, throughout their life, especially if they haven't been stretching their bodies. So not only do they get rigid in their bodies, but they also get rigid in mind. So in order for them to be more flexible, you can start it by, being more flexible from your body, and then your mind can get flexible as well. They're very traditional. They like the tradition. They like to follow the norm. They like to be very conservative, and they like to, they don't like to be defined nothing in no one. They have a regal energy about them. They know how to be an authority. They're great CEOs, great managers. They do a lot better managing people and being the boss of others. They do very good at these things. They also seek protection. They're always seeking protection. They're always seeking security. It is an earth sign, so this is their natural tendencies. They want to find something secure, something they can count on, something that is consistent, something that is predictable. They don't like risks, like I said, because they do move very slow. They don't like the necessity of having a risk. They like having guarantees, okay? They love a good sale. They love to have the guarantee that if you're not satisfied with it, you can always return it. So they love the energy of having something guaranteed to them. And when it comes to risks and just seeing if it works or it doesn't work, this can make them very anxious. They're very organizational. They're very realistic. They're the realistic, okay? They're the ones that is like, hey, listen, life is not easy, and that's just how it is. Take it or leave it. Don't be here crying about it. They're pretty much like that. Like, they're very realistic, down to earth. But nonetheless, they can be very humorous. They have a little bit of a capricious energy. That's where the word comes from Capricorn. So they're very humorous. They can be very silly when they want to be. They're not, this is where they get more cooling, and they get more relaxed. And as they get older, they get more humor-like, and they get more childlike. And very successful. They like success. They like to reach success. And they like to go for success. And most of the Capricorns will make it to their success. Now, in relationships, Capricorns are immediately linked to fortune and prestige and money. This is important to them. So if you're with a Capricorn, they're naturally going to be bringing these things into your life. More prestige, more money, more fortune, because that's their goal. Their goal is like, we need to get better. We need to reach a fortune. We need to get to the top. We need to get to the peak. I need to be successful. What is success according to society? Success is money, success is status, and I'm going to go get it. So this is naturally, you're going to be dealing with these things if you're with a Capricorn. They love worldly status. They love security. They want roots and an orderly life, okay? These are the people that like to have, like to run a tight ship. That's when they feel that they're doing their best, and that's when they feel like they're really leading things right. They hide a very deep well of love and a streak of loneliness, okay? So they can show all these things outside of themselves, but deep down inside, they are longing for a lot of love, and they can feel very lonely inside. Especially because a lot of Capricorns can just get married to their careers and their successes. They constantly have an energy of like, but what about love? Like there's always this energy of like, I want to be loved deep down inside, and I don't want to feel so lonely. But they're not going to show it to you. They're not the people to be showing too much of the vulnerabilities that they have. They fear love, but needs it to complete them. So the reason why they fear love is because love is risky. There is no guarantees in love. And this is the reason why they constantly have a sort of conflict. They can end up having all their worldly ambitions come true, and then they get to a point where it's like, okay, well, what about this whole relationship thing, love thing? I got all the money in the world, I got all the status in the world, but okay, what is this whole relationship thing that, I still feel like I'm missing? And they definitely long for it. But the reason why they have such a conflict is because it takes risk to love fully, to fully give yourself into a relationship without being 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out of the door. Time is money to them. That's exactly why. They don't want to be wasting their time with no one, okay? Time is money to them. They're a busybody, and they can either invite love and then reject it because of this, because they want to feel like it's worth it, you know. They think of love very much like a business. These are the business people. So when it comes to love, they kind of see it in the business, like, okay, what is the investment I'm putting into this relationship, and what am I getting back? Am I getting back something that is going to be worth it? Are you guaranteeing me, can you guarantee me that you can really bring love to me and bring me security and bring me a happiness? Like, what are you bringing back to me? Or am I the only one that's going to be investing here? How good of an investment is this love thing? So they run their relationship a lot more like a business. So that way they need to have more practicality in their relationship. It can't just be like, oh, baby, I love you, and, you know, we're going to survive out of love out here under this bridge as long as we love each other. No, they're not like that. Like, what are we here? What are we doing? You know, they can do that whole, like, you know, let's just see what happens. No, either we're together or we're not together. Like, no half-assing, no, like, you know, elusive, like, things. Like, what are we? This or this? That's it. And they're very conservative. And if we say that we're married, and if we say they're boyfriend and girlfriend, then we're going to follow the norms. And we're going to follow the rules of what it means to be a boyfriend and a girlfriend, or a wife or a husband. They will love to have the relationship predictability in the palm of their hand. Kind of like a business. They really will love to have these things, but you know, they can't guarantee this. They can't guarantee this. And that's why they move slow into relationships. These are not the people to just like, oh, I saw you across the room and I just know I needed to have you. No. They're like, okay, what are you all about? Are you somebody who's serious? Are you somebody who's going to take me serious? Or are you just going to come here and play me and, you know, throw me and use me and then not even have anything to do with me? So they're very much about like, what are you here? What is this investment? What are your intentions with me? What can you bring to me? You know, very practical, very, very practical. And the more consistent and the more, you know, you talk about these things openly, you know, it's not just about an intuition of like, you intuitively know that I love you and you intuitively know that I want to be with you always. No, like, let's talk about this. Yes, I want to be with you because of this, and I'm planning to, you know, have children, and I want to move into a house, and, you know, practical affairs is something that they really work well with. And this makes them feel like, okay, there's something I can predict out of the situation. Like, I can look forward to knowing that this person is in the same page with me when it comes to what is it that we're doing in this relationship. Once having their security fall in love with but sometimes what could happen is, you know, once they have the status and everything, they can fall in love with the struggling artists. And they are going to be the managers, you know, with their help, they're going to be able to reach the status that they're looking for or the recognition that they're looking for. So even though they can have all of these things and they're very cautious in love, they might sometimes fall in love with people that have a lot of potential. They're not there yet, but they have a lot of potential. Remember, Capricorn is the sign of the father figure. So the father figure can see your potential and it will try to bring that out of you. And this is where Capricorn might find themselves into a lot of fights if they are with the wrong person that doesn't want to be, you know, parented or nurtured in this way. But they really fall in love with people's potentials and the potential that they have. And they might sometimes, you know, take the risk of seeing if they can bring out this potential out of the person. Sometimes, you know, they're chasing rainbows. They are the people who are chasing rainbows because they all have to have a big dreaming and a big ability to dream big for the ambitions that they have. But they are very grounded on the same way because they want to see that they're not going to be tripping and falling over while they're chasing these rainbows. If they can, you know, if they can help it, they will. So they really need to know that these are the people that, yes, they can be idealistic to a certain extent, but they have their feet very planted in the ground and they're very strategical, that they're not going to get, you know, hurt or that they're not going to be taken advantage of. If they can prevent this, By knowing that it's going to happen, they will do it. The greatest challenge for a Capricorn in their relationship is to relate to people and trust them and let them and to let down their self-protective barriers, okay? This is their greatest challenge, that they can just open up to people, trust them, and bring down their barriers and just, open up to them. And this is where the Capricorn really needs to be able to nurture themselves, have that, bring out more of that energy of the Cancer, which is the opposite of Capricorn, that it has to do with patience, with loving energy, with emotional security, with being there and sticking to things till the end. So they really need to be working and trusting people. Okay, they have to work on trusting people and the people that they love, and how are they going to be relating to them. Okay, and in this way, they can start bringing down their self-protective barriers that they've created around themselves. People might think of them of being very dry and being very like non-emotional, but in reality, Capricorns feel a lot, and they almost kind of fear it. They almost fear how much they can feel. So they try to keep those things very organized. They try to keep emotions very tucked into some organizational structure that they can control. But in reality, when they lose it emotionally, they can just cry and cry and cry. And these people are prone to somewhat of depressions because they plan so much. They plan so much to, okay, I'm going to do this step, and then I'm going to do this step, and it's the perfect plan. I'm going to get to where I want to get. And then if it doesn't turn out exactly how they planned it out, and since they don't have that much flexibility, they can really, really go into a depressive state where it's like, oh my God, I failed. I should have seen them coming. Why? So help your Capricorn, be more flexible. Help your Capricorn make for plan B, and, not put all their eggs into one basket when it comes to those plans. There can be somewhat defensive because they're always expecting to get hurt, So there's a defensive quality about them. That's why they have their barriers up. And that's why this is somewhat of a challenge to them. And then as they grow older, then they really start thinking, what is the use of this love thing? What is it for? What is this use of love thing? Because there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that I will have the perfect relationship. There's no guarantee that I will have what society and the TV shows me, that, people come together and they love each other and there's no problems. So they can really have a lot of conflicts about like, what is this love thing and what is it supposed to bring me? So the circle of fear and loneliness that they can have kind of continues because they need love. They reach out, yet they're very fearful of it. And then they start growing thicker and thicker skin. They put more and more barriers. So next time I don't get hurt. So next time this doesn't happen to me. Next time I'm going to be more cautious. That then they close themselves so much that they end up just feeling like, okay, what's the connection with me in this love situation anymore? Is it really going to help me? Is it really going to do something for me? So this is a vicious cycle that they need to break. And the only way to break it is you need to bring down your barriers. You need to trust people. And they sometimes have a lot of like the two voices in their head. They have a voice that is the disciplinary, that's telling them, do the right thing. You've gotten hurt before. Why are you doing this? You should just focus on your work. What are you doing? And then there's the other voice that it's like, come on, just go for it. Just go for it. Maybe this time around it will be different. So they have a lot of tug of war within them when it comes to their disciplinary voice and their voice of caring and adventure. And this pattern can repeat itself for some time until they break it, until they decide to trust, until they decide to just take the risk, and for them to just be content with knowing that there's no guarantees. The only guarantee that you have, Capricorn, is the energy that you put into the relationship will come back to you. So if you put trust, if you put love, if you put, nurturing, if you open your heart, the person next to you will reciprocate that. the universe will bring that back to you. They definitely have a durable sex appeal. And the older they get, they still have a major, major sex appeal that they can have with them. This is something that they do not lose. And they definitely have a persistence and the ability to give as much as they get. So they have a persistence. They are very determined. You are dealing with somebody that will not quit on you ever. That will put their best self out in the front. So if you're looking for somebody reliable, somebody consistent, somebody that is long-term, that wants to build something for a long time, this is the type of person for you. They have secret passions. They definitely have a lot of passion within them that not a lot of people see. They have tremendous loyalty. They can be very, very loyal. And they can have a sense of humor, you know. And they have a survival ability, you know. They survive until the end. So you're dealing with somebody that could be very serious, but somebody that could be very trusting, that you can definitely trust in them, that they will be there, that they're not going to abandon you, that they're going to give you as much security as they possibly can. Either if it's a female Capricorn and a male Capricorn, these people are willing to give their stuff to the person for them to feel secure, to trust them, because this is what they're looking for in return. So count on them for a really long-term relationship, okay? And count on them for being a serious, dutiful person who really takes their relationship as something very, very serious. This is not a joke. So you're dealing with somebody who is very, you know, business oriented, but at the same time, it's going to give you that energy that here I am and I'm not going to move anywhere. And I truly, truly want to be here. And the only thing you need to help them understand is to trust them, to bring down their barriers, to bring down their guarding, to bring down their defensiveness, and to open their hearts to trusting the unknown, you know. Let them know that from unknown to unknown, everything happens. And the more comfortable you become with the unknown, the more comfortable you will become in being flexible with the ups and downs of life. Because at the end of the day, there's really not that much guarantees that you can have, okay? Alrighty, Capricorn, I really hope this was of help to you. I really hope that this was a way for you to understand yourself a little bit better. And for those people who have a lover who's a Capricorn, I hope this was of help for you guys to actually understand your mate in a deeper way and to be able to help them out in the weaknesses that they might have. Alrighty, guys. Now remember, this is just a general reading. If you want to have a more detailed reading about your love life, about your relationship, about your future love, you can always do a consultation with me in the link below, and we can do a love and relationships and compatibility reading for you. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I'll be seeing you for the next episode.